Hello, welcome back to NVN London. So yes, back once again, updates have been happening. I haven't been here for around about 2 weeks, probably over 2 weeks now. The rate of development is rapid. Let me show you a quick tour around, show you what's going on, and share with you one of the biggest projects to take place as part of the NVN London development. This is quite a big moment. So this is the first time that we have a sample of both the potential tiles that we'll be putting on the floor and the light we'll be using. So this is the perfect opportunity to check it out. Now in NVN Dubai, we've got a tile which is quite, it's fairly like slaty grey, right?
Dubai tile. So
this is our Dubai tile. Okay. Yeah. And for here, we're in two minds whether we should go Dubai tile or slightly lighter, right?
Slightly lighter, yeah. A shade lighter.
That's got a more mirror effect on it as well, isn't it?
And we are 2 mil thicker, right?
And we're 2 mil thicker,
yeah, slightly thicker.
Which is because it's Italian. I can't tell you it's made in the Ferrari factory, which makes it any better, but it's made in it.
And that's a contrast to the lounge. You can see.
Nice. So this is a component of the lounge which I'm going to keep secret, because right now it kind of still looks like, well, you know, a building site. But when all of these components come together, we think it's going to look really, really cool.
Go for it, Graham.
Alright, yep.
How many square meter?
960.
960 square meter?
960 square meters of tile.
20 tons.
20 tons.
20 tons. We need 20 pallets, ton of pallet.
Well, some serious exercise. Putting it out.
It's one container from Italy. One container.
One whole, like,
one
shipping container.
Shipping container, 20 tons.
Of tiles just for this floor. I mean, I was saying, like, on camera, it's really hard to sort of contextualize how big this place is.
Yeah.
There you go. 20 tons, 900 and... How many?
960 square meters we need. It's 1,000 square meters, really, but
yeah.
we're taking out where they're in the
and
showroom.
the lounge area. This place is big, guys. Check it out, our lights have arrived. It's like a strip light that rolls out and goes in this sort of housing here, which we've got set up as a demo. You can just see it in there, actually. Look, that strip light. How cool is that? And obviously with it being LED, super efficient as well. So yes, I did mention when this project started that it was one of the biggest things I've undertaken. The tiling of the floors here is one of 3 of the largest jobs which is taking place. 960 square meters of tile. It's going to take the guys an entire month just to apply it to the floor. It's a huge job. The grouting alone between the tiles is going to take 4 to 5 days. It's monumental. As Graham mentioned back there, Graham's our contractor. He's been awesome. Yeah, shipping it in from Italy, 20 tons of this stuff. The idea has always been from day one that when you step inside this place, we want it to feel much more like a venue, like a showroom rather than a warehouse. Right now, it's very warehousey. When it's completed, we want it to feel like a beautiful destination, like a car showroom. So adding tiles on this floor, while it's a monumental job, is one of those features that is going to transform the whole feel of this place when you walk inside. As another spot of context, the lighting that's going in, which I shall show you when I get back next time, lighting is a hugely important part of obviously detailing cars. You need to have as much clarity as you possibly can. The roof is going to have 125 of those strip lights that we just showed you over there. The numbers of all of this stuff, like when you start to hear it, 960 square meters of tiles, 125 strip lights, it's 14,500 square feet. It's on and on and on. Everything, as we delve deeper into this project, everything just ramps up and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Cannot wait to launch this thing. This is sort of my little project within inside this bigger project is the lounge area. If you watch the beginning journey of this area we've got here, so over 75 square meters. So from this point to that point, and then to that post and that post, floor to ceiling glass, so you can overlook all the work going on out there. From there to that line, just going to be pure glass. As I mentioned on the last video, the first thing which has been taking place has been all above ground. Now, to keep it on theme with cars, I wanted the aircon installation to look as exhaust pipe-like as we possibly could. So we've designed it this way. Look at this, how cool does it look? And the roof, we've got this gorgeous corrugated aluminium in the roof line, sticking with the car theme and the exhaust pipe feel of the aircon. It's gonna be so cool. And to overlook all of that, when we eventually host the podcast here, because this will be the podcast lounge, when we hold it here against the glass, every episode, and even live during the episodes, because of course we will be filming it, the background will be constantly changing. It'll be ever evolving, because we're always going to have this new influx of cars in and out. It's going to be the perfect environment for it. We've got proper equipment in now to literally break ground. These guys are here to help dig the drainage in the floor, because of course we are ultimately cleaning cars here, so we need to get rid of the dirty water. I'll share that with you at some stage, because the filtration that we've had to have in order to clean away this dirty water is a pretty big job in itself as well. So far, but we are now on to the Q&A segment of this video with regards to NVN specific questions, because ever since I launched this project, you guys have been asking, quite rightly so, question after question, and this is the first opportunity really to address some of those. So let's start with Milan Mizlai. Will NVN ever be the place for a supercar meet? That would be awesome. Yes, of course, we are definitely going to be using NVN as a base for either our own events or supercar clubs to use as a destination to stop at, be it the beginning of a supercar drive or the end or halfway through, whatever it may be. Anyone who's part of the community who wants to get involved, yes, we are absolutely open to that. Okay, next question from Castor Troy 8. There is some stiff competition in the market. Does that worry you? So for me, competition is a good thing. First of all, it gives you an indicator that there is demand for this service in the market. If there wasn't, then competition wouldn't exist, and it might even make you think, why isn't anyone else doing this? Now that might be an exception if you've invented something new. Of course, you might not necessarily expect there to be any other competition. But in this scene, yes, there is competition. That for me is brilliant. Not only does it make us step up our game, it also qualifies that there is a viable business proposition out there. And when you see competition, it gives you the opportunity to do things differently, and that's what we're here to do at NVN. Yes, ultimately we are applying paint protection film, but that moves us nicely on to the next question from Drain.Snake. What differentiates you from the competition? Well, when I think about this question, I would always give a similar example like, well, for every Starbucks there's a Costa coffee. They ultimately both provide a similar product, but people have allegiances to different brands for different reasons. For every Nike, there's an Adidas, and so on. It's all to do with brand experience. For me, in my eyes, the importance of NVN is not just the product itself, it's the service, the experience, and the quality. Now, what we really want to make sure that we don't do is spread ourselves too thin and become too busy so that we cannot allocate the amount of time that is absolutely required to give the best quality job on a car. In business, it's very hard to not accept all of the work which is being thrown at you, because obviously business leads to revenue. The thing is, if you spread yourself too thin, you can never fully do the job to the quality that is not only expected, but is also warranted. But you need to be able to apply your absolute care, attention, and detail to this process to justify you being the best in the game. If you can't allocate your time and attention accordingly to what that customer is paying for, you're going to start to have issues. So first of all, we want to maintain the absolute best quality. What that will mean is we probably can't do as many cars in terms of volume as maybe the next company might be able to do. But we're not here for volume, we're here for quality. We're quality over quantity. So that's the first thing that we are addressing. The second thing is the community aspect. Now, what I've found with a lot of companies in this business is that they're actually quite faceless in that they are just a company, which means that a lot of the time you don't even get to interact with them. You just drop off your car, or in fact your new car gets dropped off on a trailer and you never even see the company who's doing the work for you. You very rarely interact with the people behind the brand, and I think it's such a shame, because this world, what is a massive part of the ownership of these cars is the culture that surrounds it. It's the people you meet. And that's a huge part of it. Like, outside of the driving enjoyment, it's the meets where you can go and catch up with like-minded people. And for me, one of the most outstanding features of NVN in Dubai was that it was a community-driven company. It wasn't just a business-driven brand, right? And so ultimately we are a open-doored brand. We want people to come in, no obligation. If you're interested in having PPF, come in, sit down, enjoy a coffee, which is why we're putting so much emphasis on the lounge. I mean, if you look at it from a purely business point of view, we are allocating 75 square meters of our floor space to an area which has nothing to do with the business we're in, right? We're not allocating that 75 square meters to trying to fit in some more cars and applying more PPF. We're allocating it to the lifestyle. We're allocating it to the reason people buy these cars. It's not just about applying the PPF. We want you to feel part of the family. We want you to feel welcome, and we want you to embrace what this wider culture is all about. And that for me is something that differentiates us from what I've seen pretty much everyone else. So that for me is almost the core of it. It's the human element as well as the product element. So next question from Mick_Chong. Are there any jobs going? Are you looking for any experienced detailers? Yes, yes, and yes. So I would officially class this as the job spaces are open. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting an email in the description below. Please, if you really are interested in working at NVN, particularly on the detailing side and the paint protection application side, please drop us an email. Now, when I say an email, I must stress that it has to be an email to this link below. If you send me a direct message on Instagram, the chances are I won't see it, because I just get hundreds of DMs every day and I can't stay on it, and it would be a real shame if I missed your application. But also, ultimately, at the end of that email address is the NVN team who is going through everyone's CVs. We've actually had hundreds so far, and I haven't even officially said that we're looking for jobs, but now I'm officially saying it. So if you are interested in working at NVN, please send an email with your CV to the email below, which is info@nvn-motorworks.com. Link below. Send it away. The NVN team on the other end of that email will pick it up, and yeah, if we're interested, we'll give you a shout. Next question from Miguel Langel. Why did you choose this type of business? Quite simply, for the love of it, for the love of cars. The reason I'm a YouTuber that is surrounding himself with cars is it's because I love cars, and this for me is just the next step into my involvement in the car world. I just love cars. On that note, I truly, truly believe, and you can use myself as a case study if you like, go into something or just immerse yourself and your life in something you love. There's many reasons for it, but the main two are, you can fail doing something you hate, so you might as well start doing something you love. But the main reason is, if you do something you love, you will inherently go over and above the normally recognized amount of effort in order to make your business succeed. And you'll be doing it almost without thinking, because it's the kind of thing that you'd want to do anyway. So if you're looking to change a job right now, or you're looking to set up a business, or just a look and change of lifestyle, my biggest tip is to do something you love, not because it sounds cool, and not because it's nice to do something you love. It's because in this day and age, competition has never been stiffer. Like, there's more competition than ever, and if you do something you love, you will just outwork the next person, and you'll do it without thinking. purely because you love doing it. Like I often say, think of something that you would do for free and work on that. Because if you would do it for free, it means that you would just do it all day long and all night long and not even think twice about it. And honestly, that's the kind of work ethic you need in order to make something succeed. You've got to put in disproportionate amount of effort and hours to make anything a success. And if you love doing it, you'll do it without thinking about it, and you'll love every minute of it and go over and above in terms of the effort and passion and pride and quality that you take in your work just because you love it. So that's why I went into this business. Next and final question from Eddie Mavro. What have you found to be the biggest hurdle starting a new business? I've actually started quite a few businesses over the last 15 years. Believe me, not all of them work. What I found is not the starting it. It's not the leap of faith to just go and do it. It's that business gaining enough traction that it becomes and maintains a viable business proposition. That kind of takes me back to the competition thing. When you see competition, you shouldn't think, oh, there's somebody else already doing that, I won't do it. You should be thinking, there's clearly a market for this. How can I do it differently? How can I do it better? Right? And so the biggest challenge that I've found, and this isn't just for this brand, this is for everything I've ever tried, is gaining enough traction, gaining interest, people basically caring. Are there enough people out there that it becomes a viable business proposition? And that for me has been the hardest thing. The great thing about this is, and going back to what I mentioned earlier, is that if you love what you're doing, you actually are the client for what you're doing. So you don't have to second guess. You don't have to think, oh, I wonder what the client wants, because you are the client. You are a client. You're doing it because you love it. This is the kind of business that you'd want to be associated with anyway. So if you end up doing something you love, that clarity of how do I appeal to the market should be much clearer, because you are a segment of that market, right? You don't have to go out there and do any market research. You are the market. You know what you want. Therefore, other people in this space will appreciate what you're providing. So rather than chasing the money, chase what you love. And I truly believe it's more likely that the money will therefore follow. That's what I would say. But that's the biggest hurdle. Without doubt, gaining traction, getting those sales. That's always the biggest thing. So effectively attracting an audience. That's the biggest hurdle. So I realize this video has all of a sudden become quite long. That's because Q&As I can go on for hours about. I'd love to do some more. I'll probably do some where I sit down and specifically address lots more questions, but we have lots more videos and lots more content coming. The podcast is also going to be launching at NVN London, which also gives me loads more opportunities to address loads more questions on the channel coming in the near future. Oh, and by the way, we're aiming to open, somebody did ask that question, and I'm really sorry if I've forgotten your name, but somebody did ask, when is NVN opening? We're looking at January, so not too long now. It's not necessarily like the beginning of January, like January the 1st, but sometime in January we are opening. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I shall see you next time. Ciao!